everyone, welcome to part 2 of this planner page. I've had a little look at the Christmas tree that I did. I've got an empty pencil sharpener, which is a great start, and I'm going to do a little bit more work on the pine needles. Happy Tuesday the 24th, it's Christmas Eve. Wow. Right, so I am going to grab another colour to do a few more pine needles. Now this is quite a bluey green colour. This is number 357, and excuse me, I want to really do some more defined work with this. I'm going to come in a fair bit closer, and what I'm going to do is actually start going out of the lines. Okay, so we're going to actually sort of, because I think it helps it look a bit more fluffy if it's not restrained by the line. That's what I'm trying to say. And for me, that's really looking quite fluffy in that top area. Now, the key to this is to have a really sharp pencil, so that you get nice lines. I'm also trying to make these a bit more in different directions, mainly that way, you know. My other ones were a little bit straight and it looked a little bit odd, I think. So I'm just trying to make it look a little bit more, yeah, like a natural tree rather than just a sort of straight bit. So I think that bit looks a lot better. I was actually playing around with, it wasn't actually a Christmas tree, but it was some sort of Yule or spruce branches. I don't know. Anyway, and I managed to make it look a lot fluffier. So I sort of worked out how to do it on this one, if that makes sense. Which was good, because I wasn't 100% happy with this yesterday, but I had to stop because I needed to go and do other things, and it just seemed like a goodish place to stop. So and yes, I was struggling with my pencil sharp not being empty, which I should have just stopped the video and done. I just felt like there were so many breaks in the video as well. But today I have got a bit more time. Well, I've got one son home. He's just disappeared off to his bedroom for a bit. He's going to be leaving in about an hour and a bit, hour and 20 minutes or so, and I have the afternoon on my own. And yeah, it was a very stressful day yesterday, but today everything's more calm. There were several things going on. There was a lack of communication between me and husband, which caused him a lot of stress, unfortunately, because he didn't talk to me. What happened was, as he was leaving, he said goodbye, and I was very short with him, and just said bye, you know, and he thought I was really cross with him because of something that had happened at the weekend, which I was cross about at the time, but you know how it is. Anyway, I'm going to resharpen my pencil, and I was actually distracted because my son was struggling at uni. He was having some stress. Well, he was having some epileptic myoclonic jerks, which I always find a bit distressing when he has them, and he asked me to note it down because he's got a little book for his nurse to tell her when he has them. And he was feeling really uncomfortable. He was way too hot in his class and didn't know if he was getting a bit dehydrated or that, and he couldn't go and get a drink because it was early. So I was worried about that, and husband was just leaving. I didn't want to tell him before he left because I didn't want him to have that stress and worry before he was going to work. But he said I need to tell him because he just thought I was cross with him rather than worried about our boy. So there was, as I say, there was a bit of a lack of communication going on, and it led to him being very distressed that I was still really cross with him and he didn't know how to make it up to me when it was absolutely nothing to do with him. So anyway, This is looking far better, I think. Just layering up until it looks to your liking. I mean, I really think that it would make more sense in my head if I started with the darker colour and then layered the lighter colour on top. But I feel like I wouldn't be able to see the lighter colour very well because it would be masked by the dark. So I do it this way round. And it seems to sort of work. Let's put a few different, just a few bits in different directions. It just adds a more of a fluffy look. And I'm just sort of looking and going back over bits that look a bit too straight and then just putting a few the other way. Oh, not too mad. That was a bit mad, but never mind. Yeah, so yes, so we had a long talk last night about it all and it's all good. Got it sorted out as you do. And so that was all good. And we've got a 4-day weekend coming up, which is good. And then on Tuesday, both boys have got to be in the afternoon, but neither in the morning. So that's another day when we don't have to rush out of bed. Oh, I will get my husband to work, but I usually have an extra 5 minutes because he doesn't leave that early. So, and if I've only, although I have boys' lunch boxes to make as well probably, but it's pretty good. So we can just relax a little bit because no one has to be out of the door at 7:20, which is where I, you know, when I'm getting up in the morning, I'm thinking, I've got to get all this done. And what I do to make my routine easier, and this might help others, I don't know, it might be really obvious, is the night before I do a bit of prep. So I make sure all the surfaces in the kitchen are clean, which makes a difference to the time in the morning. I lay out the breakfast things on the breakfast bar, so everyone's got a bowl, a spoon, a knife. I put the bananas out. Usually you'll have a banana with our breakfast, so I put those beside the bowls, which, you know, out, put the cereals out, that sort of thing. And so that's all ready, so that speeds everybody up. And then I will get out the chopping boards and the lunch boxes, and I can't get out the veggies and I get the rolls out ready, obviously still in their bag, and the knives that I need to use and things like that. And so if I'm really with it, I also fill the kettle ready with well, I don't fill it full, but with the amount that we need, and get the cups out so I can come down to the kitchen, open the blind, and straight away pop the kettle on and then start preparing the lunch boxes. And then anyone that comes down can just sit down at the breakfast bar and start helping themselves to their breakfast. I tend to, in the morning when I put the kettle on, put the milk out on the breakfast bar, and then everyone's getting quite sorted, you know. I mean, there is the added time at this time of year. You've got to open your advent calendar and find your chocolate, you know, all takes time. But if they're running late, they do it at night. But that's good. My poor son said he had his this morning and it was really sickly. Ooh. He's got two actually. One was Galaxy milk chocolate, which he prefers dark. Really, he's okay with milk, but you know he doesn't have the ability to taste bitter. So dark chocolate is fine for him. He likes it. I think I might be the same. I taste it a bit, but it doesn't. You know, I don't mind it. But anyway, so. And then he had his other advent calendar, which was quite a big bar of chocolate, and it was called Double Milk. So it was like, I think it had like white chocolate ganache or something. It was really rich, and he was like, ooh. But I think he was okay. Luckily, he doesn't get train sick or anything, so that's good. He doesn't get sick, but he feels really ugh, you know. And it was funny, he was telling me the other day he could smell the smell of car sickness. I'm like, what do you mean you can smell sick? He's like, no, I can smell that sort of plastic smell you get on in cars, and that makes you feel sick. And I know exactly what he means, because when I was younger, my dad had a brand new car, and it used to make me feel travel sick, and the smell of new car, plasticky, weird smell now just makes me feel a bit the same as the colour of travel sickness pills. They're sort of bright pink. I haven't got anything that colour, fortunately. Makes me feel a bit nauseous just looking at the colour, because weirdly I associate travel sickness pills with feeling sick when they're supposed to stop you feeling sick. But brains, they're fun, aren't they? Anyway, so it was funny, and he said he smelt it down by when he was putting his shoes on. I said, oh, someone's shoes probably smell. But why they smell like that, I have no idea. But he may have been just sort of smell hallucinating, which I do all the time. And apparently, I mean, it won't apply to him, obviously. Apparently, it's a really common thing in menopause and perimenopause to have smell hallucinations. Why is that? It doesn't make any sense. Does a lack of hormones make you hallucinate? I mean, what? It just, like what you want, you know. But I'm still getting them, even though I'm on the hormone replacement therapy. But it's helping me sleep better, and my hot flushes have gone. So, which I can cope with more in the winter anyway. But you know, it bodes well coming into the summer, and well, not coming into the summer, but you know what I mean, for when the summer comes. And so that's all good. Excuse me. And yeah, it's all good, and I find that I can cope with my stress a little bit better, in that I used to find that I was in a position where I couldn't even meditate properly. I just felt incapable, whereas now I can. So that's all good. Now I'm going to do the tree trunk next. Now we've got quite an intricate pattern drawn, sorry you can't see, drawn onto the tree trunk. I'm just going to rearrange my desk a bit, and then I can move my book up and come a bit closer. But what I'm going to do is colour it in quite sort of plainish, and then I might, oh, that's as close as I can get, and then I might put some of the detail on after. So I want a sort of general brown. I think 387 is the one. I think I've picked the right one I have. 387. And I'm just going to do a brown, basic brown to start with. Nothing special, just get some brown there. Now I'm just looking at this present that's overlapping and thinking we can't see the tree through it, so even though those look like they're blocked out bits of bow, they're not, so I won't worry about that. But what I am going to do is make it a little bit darker on the edges, because that will help to give the impression that it's a little bit more round, because tree trunks aren't flat. There we go. So there's the start. And I'm going to grab a darker brown. I'm just looking at what I've got. 376. I think it's that one. Yeah. 376. You'll have to bear with me a little bit, because I'm just getting used to these pencils. You know, they're quite new to me. I've only used them for swatching, actually, I think. Not sure if I've coloured a picture with them yet or not. Don't think so. So it's good memory, eh? So I'm just getting used to the numbers and things like that. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our, I'm going to go back to the original colour, the 387, and just work that a little more. Just help to blend it together a bit. I don't want it too pale in the middle. There we go. And now the patterning on here. Now we could do various things. We could outline it in a bit of glitter pen, or we could ignore it and just let it shine through. But I'm going to grab a darker brown. This is the 380. I'm going to sharpen it well, and I'm going to do a little bit of a few darker areas. So this loopy bit, I'm just going to darken a bit. Now I'm going to try and still make it lighter in the middle. So just make that bit darker. I think this one, I can do this background bit and leave those circles. Bit tricky, but it's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. No one's going to be going in there with a magnifying glass checking you've done every detail right. Well, if they are, then unfriend them. They're mad. Right, now with the tree, what I'm going to do is every ornament and whatever these are, you call these, swags or whatever, I'm going to go over with a glitter pen, with a clear glitter pen with the number 700 Sakura. But I'm not going to do that now because I'll just smudge it everywhere. So I'm going to do that later. I'm going to come to this little table of candles and we're going to do that. Let's come out a tad. Now, and actually start with the mistletoe. I've got this nice set of colours here. Oops, dropped one. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3 different colours for the mistletoe because I'm not in a rush. So number 372, and this is what I'm going to use for the sort of stem twiggy bit like that, and then fade it into the leaf. Don't need to worry about it there. Just a little bit like that. We can just put a tad, so just sort of taper it off. If you start to lift your pencil off the page, you get a slightly lighter bit. So that is it for that one. Then we're going to go slightly darker. This is 370. I'm just going to, hang on, no, 371. I use 370 after. Despite the fact, look at that, you would expect this one to be lighter, it isn't. I'm just lucky I've got a swatch chart, or else I would have done that wrong. So 371, just to clarify. And we're going to take this colour further along. Oh, can hear the some post coming through the door. I couldn't work out what the noise was from in here. Is that rustling? Now, is it something exciting, do you think, or something dull? This time of the year, there's always the expectation it might be something exciting. 370, but yesterday, what did I have in the post? A hospital appointment, a new debit card for my husband, and a card from the Salvation Army. So not really very exciting. Got that one. There we go. Now the berries, as we've done berries quite a lot before. Mistletoe, they should be sort of white cream. It's quite difficult to get that colour, especially we don't really have a cream in this set, but I'm going to use the lightest yellow, which is the 304, and I'm just going to use a little bit to try and make it look a little bit creamy. Now with our background, we're going to put a clatter. I'm going to put a background in. I have got no idea what. And so they will hopefully stand out from the background. I'm just trying to decide on what colour to make this little table. I think it should be wooden. And I think I've used the best wood colours for the tree trunk, so I will use these again. Maybe I'll start a little bit darker though with the 376, and I will just colour it in really and see where we go. My sister's home alone for 3 days. Her husband is taking her boys to his parents for a few days to see them before Christmas. and she hasn't got the time to go. Various things. Obviously it's a busy time of year, but she's doing a master, she's got assignments due in. They've got a cat they have to look after because he's quite poorly, and who actually tried to get into the car as they were leaving. Apparently I had to chase him out. I'm just sharpening up, and I'm going to do the top of the leg with a little bit darker here, and then also down the side, just to try and give it a bit more of a interest and dimension to the item. Like that. You can see the difference between these. We're going to do the same with each of them. Yeah, it's really the cat that's the problem. She was going to go with them, but he's very poorly. He doesn't always want to eat, and then sometimes he just eats like 10 packets of food in a day. He's got like kidney or liver problems, I think. He's on meds. He's got to have meds twice a day as well. Giving his meds is always fun. Cat, I do remember watching, I've never had a cat, but I remember her giving a previous cat meds, and I was trying to help her by holding the cat down. Oh, it feels horrible, but you know you're doing it for their own good. And he spat his medication. I've never seen a pill fly so fast or so far across the room. It was quite entertaining, but poor little thing. Right, I'm just going to go and see what the post is because it's bothering me. It was just a flyer. Oh, clank. Right, let's do our candle light. I usually like to start with a bit of red, then an orange, then a... it's quite a small area, isn't it? I'm going to start with 316. It's a sort of reddish orange, so we're slightly compromising and not going really bright red. And it's such a tiny area, so really I'm just going to try to put the tiniest bit into the tip of the flame. You've seen me do these quite a lot. Candles seem to be the thing to colour at this time of year. I'm not really sure why. I mean, 314. I realised that we might associate candles with winter because, you know, they're quite comforting, they give a nice light, but like Christmas. Perhaps there's a significance that I don't know of. 309. I don't tend to burn candles very much. We had one the other day when we had our power cut, but I only had one. But I find I get a bit worried about leaving them, so you know, when we're wandering around the house we're having to carry a candle with us. Yeah. Right, now we've got our tree in purple and pink, so I was just about to grab a red and just do a red candle, but no, these are going to need to match our decorations. Now I used a limited colour palette for the tree, so I think I used slightly different pinks and purples for the candles. So I'm just going to look and see what I've got. I'm just going to grab this pink, I think, and just go for it. This is 333. I'm going to give it a sharpen. We might just do the more slightly different colours. Now I'm just going to put a light layer of colour over the whole thing. Now with the melted wax, I did have a little look online to figure out how to colour this, and it seems like, from what, I'm just making it a bit dark on the edge, a bit lighter in the middle, from what I could tell, that the melted wax is often a bit lighter in colour because you've got more of the candle light showing through that bit. And a lot of candles, when you look at the photos of them, this top part is just white from the light, and although it looks quite spectacular, trying to emulate that with a coloured pencil, I decided that I would just do it so that the wax is slightly lighter. I think that's just a better way. I can come in a bit closer, not very much though. So yeah, so I'm going to leave that one like that. I'm going to grab what looks like a purple. What colour is that? 342. It's a little bit bluey, but I think it'll work. Oh, sorry, you want to see it. This is more like a blue violet, I think. Now I have done some charts for these, I think I said in yesterday's video, where you can see what the nearest matches are in polychromos and in Prismacolor. I know it's probably more useful to do it the other way round, so for people who've got these budget pencils and want to follow tutorials with polychromos and know which ones are closest. But I did it the other way around, it just felt a bit easier because there's less of these, or else I'd end up duplicating them so many times, especially as there's 5 metallics and they don't tend to turn up, you know. Last one, that is quite blue, isn't it? We definitely want a pink. Ah, this one, what colour is this? 335. Yeah, we'll try this one, 335. I probably should have put that bluey one there, but hey ho. If this is a bit too similar to this one, I'll put a bit of blue on top of it to make it a bit more violety, if I can. So again, starting here, just lighten towards the middle. Now, I'm going to do the same thing here, and then we'll worry about those curves in a minute. They're quite simple to deal with, really, I tend to find. I'm going to make this quite a lot darker, and then it will look significantly different to that one. There we go. So with the curves, just put a little bit, I think, above. Like that. Now, we want a bit of shadow, but I'm going to use a darker colour. What's that colour? No, I'm going to use a black. If I can find it, here it is. Ooh. It's 399, the black. I need it really sharp. And what I'm going to do is create a little bit of shadow between these two. And then underneath the dribbly bits, because they would be standing out from the main part of the candle. Like that. There we go. Now they're standing on a little saucer, for want of a better word. And what colour? Well, I think, oops, this colour might be good. I'm just coming at what it is. No. I'm going to use the dark purple that I used for the tree decorations. This 337, because it's quite violety. I think it'll look better. It'll tie them together in a way. So this bit here I want quite dark. And then I'm going to go a little darker here on the edges. There we go. Now around each candle I could put some yellow, but I don't know what I'm doing with my background yet, so I'm not going to worry about that. Now, how are we doing? Let's do... Now, on the floor we've got quite a lot of different ribbon. Now, what are we going to do colour-wise for these gifts? Are we going to do them still within our sort of limited colour palette, or are we going to expand and just do random colours? Because people give you presents, they don't match them to your Christmas tree. But we do have a lot of pinks, purples and blues that we could potentially use. So I'm thinking I might go with, see, blues would look good. Yeah. Now let's see, what colour's that? I'm just seeing where my blues start. That's 338, that's no use to me. That is 341. Right, that's where I'm going to start, 341. And I'm going to do some of this ribbon. Now for ribbon, it can be quite good to leave some lighter areas to look like it's shiny, but because this is curled around the chair leg, it's a bit complicated. But I think I'll just leave a lighter bit here. So layer up near the edges, and then there, and then it just looks like it's a bit of a shiny ribbon. It's very simple. Now here again I'm going to do a similar thing, so darker colour here and then less there and a bit less here. There we go. And I'm going to do all the ribbon on the floor the same, so we've got a little bit here. And it could be that someone's been wrapping their gifts that they're going to be giving to someone else, and they've all got the same colour wrapping on. And I am wondering whether to go of that ilk and sort of keep it all the same. So do all the same colour ribbon. I'm going to do a lighter bit just there. Okay, you need to see the rest. There we go. So I might do that. I'm just going to sharpen a little bit while I ponder. There we go. And a little bit in there, lighter colour. And here, I think when I've done the ribbon, I might finish and then come back for a third video, because we've got background to think about and everything else. I don't want to pack too much into each one, because I know it's a time of year when you're going to be having lots to do, so you might probably don't want a long video, but I'm sure you want to get this book finished if you're colouring along. Right, we're going to do the ribbons on the parcels as well. I'm going to start this side with the next to the just keeping that quite plain on the top. Yeah, next to the ring bind it's a bit tricky. So down here I'm going to fade it about halfway. Like that. And same on this one. With the bow we can put it a bit lighter on the top, and these bits are going to be darker in here. You can always come in with a bit of a black to add some shadows if you think it's necessary. Now with the bow I usually go darker here and on this edge and leave the centre part empty. Like that. And then, so I'm using a similar technique on all my ribbon, because it's the same ribbon, so it's going to be shiny on all of them. I like putting ribbon on presents. People hate it, taking it off. They never know how to undo it. I always try and do up ribbon so that you can just pull the bow and it opens, but people don't seem to know that, and they try and pull it off the sides without undoing it. They also always give me them back, like, oh here, you can reuse them. I'm thinking, oh, you could use them. But anyway, I think my mum tends to buy curling ribbon, which I find difficult to use somehow. I don't know. I know how to do it. You know, pull it along the blade of your... I'm just going to do a light layer across all of this and then figure out what to do with it. I want those bits in between the circles to be darker. It's really fiddly. Perhaps that wasn't such a good idea. And then just going to colour each one. Try and make it a bit dark on the outside. Yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but I like proper ribbon, if you know what I mean. But it's expensive. But I've also made some bead Christmas tree, no, button Christmas trees to put on my presents. And I've got some bells and things, which are fun, I think. There we go. I've got bells in different colours as well, so I can match different gift wrap. Gold, silver. I've got some shiny reds, blues and greens as well. That's quite fun. It's probably a bit small to try and put a shine in there, and there I might just block them in. This one we can. Yeah, so I enjoy doing all that, making it all pretty. But I have to be in the right mood and have some Christmas music playing, of course, while I'm doing it. Now let's move you across a bit. There we go. Now I'm not sure about this teddy bear because I'm not going to put any shine on this one, it's too small. But what I'm going to do here is try and fade it towards the middle to make it look like it's a sort of big loopy knot thing. I don't know. Yeah, play some Christmas music, wrap some prezzies. I might do a bit this afternoon. Now this one, I think I'm going to colour each of these in just with an evenish layer and then colour the centre bits in darker. Yeah, I got, my husband popped into my parents' house last night to pick up my new coat, which I'd ordered into a shop near my sister's house, because they're click and collect type thing, because they don't do them, have click and collect round here. And unfortunately it was absolutely humongous. It fitted my husband. It didn't, it was so big, it was like a huge tent on me. It looked horrible. And so I can't take it back because you've got to take it back to a store which has click and collect, and our nearest one is a train journey away, and I worked out that if I went there and got the train it would cost me nearly half the price of the coat. It was quite a cheap coat. So I'm trying to decide, my husband really wants it, but my son's like, it looks like a woman's coat, you can't wear it, Dad. And so I'm thinking I might just drop it into a charity shop and get rid of it that way. But I'll think about it. I mean, I ordered a medium, and I usually order a size 10 coat because they're always huge. But I thought it, because I was a bit worried that it wouldn't fit me across the shoulders because I've got broad shoulders. But my goodness, yes, it did fit me. Or the sleeves might not have been long enough. But it certainly fitted me, more than fitted me. I think I could have fitted two of me in it. Anyway, back to the drawing board on coats. But luckily I have an old one that's scruffy that I can keep warm, so that's the main thing. And just grateful for that really, because I know some people don't even have that. Right, there is our next part done. Come back tomorrow, it's Christmas Day. And I'm not expecting people to tune in tomorrow. I mean, it's just going to be busy for everybody, but the video will be there for when you need it, for when you're ready. And my members will have already had all the compilation anyway. But thank you for watching. I hope that you have a really, really super day, and that you manage to stay calm and have time to listen to some carols or just enjoy some TV shows or things like that, and just don't get too stressed. So Merry Christmas, in case you don't get time to watch me tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and happy colouring.